I'm here in Rosemount United Cemetery, which is on the outskirts of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And right behind me is a 7-foot-tall pyramid constructed by the Watchtower Society, better known as the Jehovah's Witness. The reason why the Jehovah's Witness built this pyramid is because for the first 50 years of their history, from about 1879 to 1925, they believed that the study of the pyramid, or pyramidology, could foretell predictions of the end of the world or when the world would end. They believed that the pyramid was God's stone witness, and that God actually put in like hints in like the inches and the feet of certain tunnels in the pyramids, that if you studied it with the Bible, you could predict the end of the world. I'm going to read from a Watchtower publication from 1890 called Thy Kingdom Come. This is the third volume of the Studies in Scripture series, which is a 6-volume series written by Charles Taze Russell, who was the first president of the Watchtower Society. Now, before 1925, the Watchtower Society was called the International Bible Students, but Joseph Franklin Rutherford, the second president, changed their name to differentiate themselves or distinguish themselves from other factioning groups that held similar beliefs. Okay, in this book, you have towards the end, page 309, it says, the corroborative testimony of God's stone witness and prophet, the Great Pyramid in Egypt. So the Watchtower Society, in their publication, actually printed that God's stone witness and prophet, a prophet, is the Great Pyramid in Egypt. I'm going to read a couple of excerpts right here. This is from page 363. It gives the measurements called pyramid inches, 1875, 1882, and 1911 pyramid inches, which is inches inside the pyramid. It says, now we inquire if the inches of the floor lines of these passages represent a year, each as claimed and admitted by pyramid students, that the harvest, the end of the age, was reached on October 1874, and that the call proper ended in October 1881. It goes on to say, it is but a few years before the full close of the time of trouble, which ends the Gentile times. And when we remember the Lord's words, that the overcomers shall be accounted worthy to escape the severest of the trouble coming upon the world, we may understand the reference to be the trouble which will occur October 1914, but a trouble chiefly upon the church may be expected around 1910 AD. I'd like to read two more passages in this book that are interesting. It is on page 314, 315. It says, the Great Pyramid, however, proves to be a storehouse of important truths, scientific history, and prophetic, and its testimony is found to be in perfect accordance with the Bible, expressing the prominent features of its truths in beautiful and fitting symbols. It is by no means in addition to the written revelation that revelation is complete and perfect and needs no addition, but is a strong corroborative witness to God's plan, and few students can fully examine it, marking the harmony of its testimony with that of its written word, without feeling impressed that its construction was planned and directed by the same divine wisdom. They're saying that the Great Pyramid is a storehouse of scientific, historic, and prophetic truth. On page 319, it's under the subtitle, Why, When, and by Whom Was the Great Pyramid Built? It says, the old theory that it was built as a vault or tomb for an Egyptian king is unworthy of credence. For as we shall see, it required more than the wisdom of the present day, to say nothing of that of Egypt, 4,000 years ago, to design such a structure. Besides, it contains nothing in the way of casket, mummy, or inscription. Now I want to show you some diagrams in this book that actually depict the pyramids. In the front of this book, you actually have the pyramid at Giza with the Queen's Chamber, King's Chamber. Here's one with the sides of antechamber, the floor, the east wall, west wall, ceiling, etc. So this really goes to show that the Jehovah's Witnesses really believed in this. This is not just some weird belief that one of them held. This is actually written in their books, and now I'm going to show you in the Watchtower publications. Now I'm going to read some excerpts from the Watchtower Magazine from the late 19th century, early 20th century, regarding this belief in pyramidology and prediction. This is from the May 1881 Watchtower Magazine, pages 5 through 6. 33 inches from the beginning of the Grand Gallery is a well, representing the death and resurrection of Jesus. From this well there is another downward passageway, which connects with the entrance passage near the pit and seems to teach the restoration of all men from the horrible pit of death, through and on account of Jesus' death. Wow, I mean, one thing that's pretty interesting over here is that they mention resurrection. The Jehovah's Witnesses now don't believe in a resurrection. They don't believe that Jesus rose from the dead. They believe that Jehovah God recreated him, and all men will be recreated, not rise. There's no bodily resurrection. So that shows that the Jehovah's Witnesses, early on, they believed in something very different than what they believe now. This is from the June 15th, 1922 Watchtower, page 187. So the corresponding of dozen of measurements prove that the same God designed both pyramid and plan. So they're saying that God designed the pyramid. This is from the May 15th, 1925 Watchtower, page 148. The Great Pyramid of Egypt, standing as a silent, inanimate witness of the Lord, is a messenger, and its testimony speaks with great eloquence concerning the divine plan. The pyramid is not mentioned in the Bible, then following its teachings is being led by vain philosophy and false science and not following after Christ. It also goes on to say, it is more reasonable to conclude that the Great Pyramid of Giza, as well as the other pyramids thereabout, also the Sphinx, were built by the rulers of Egypt and under the direction of Satan the devil. Then Satan put his knowledge in dead stone, which may be called Satan's Bible and not God's stone witness. Actually, just 3 years before that, in the May 15th, 1925 edition of the Watchtower, page 148, it says, the Great Pyramid of Egypt, a silent and inanimate witness of the Lord. In the Watchtower publication, Proclaimers of God's Kingdom, Joseph Franklin Rutherford tried to actually pin the whole theology, pyramid theology, on Charles Taze Russell and say that this wasn't theology of the Watchtower Society as a whole, but just on his theology. But the problem with that is that this pyramid theology was taught by the Watchtower up until 1928. Joseph Franklin Rutherford became the president of the Watchtower Society in 1917. For 11 years, himself actually taught this pyramid theology. Like I said earlier, the Watchtower Society tries to disassociate itself with this belief in pyramidology. But you can see right here, Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. This is the Watchtower of the Jehovah's Witness. Another thing I found very interesting right here is the cross. The Jehovah's Witnesses don't use a cross now. They say that Jesus died on a vertical beam or a torture stake. But back then, they actually said he died on a cross. In their 1985 book, Reasoning from Scripture, on page 89, they associate the cross with the pagan symbol Tau. In the Awake magazine, November 1982, page 28, no biblical evidence ever indicates that Jesus died on a cross, right? But up until about 1925, they believed Jesus died on a cross.